Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. PlayStation, Jack in the Box, the perfect combination back in the day. That's right. You know, Hispanics have a favorite restaurant. You know, when I say Chick-fil-A, who do you think of? Who's eating at Chick-fil-A? Right? When I say Popeyes, who's eating at Popeyes? And when I say Jack in the Box, or as we call it here, Jack in the Crack, that's the number one Hispanic fast food restaurant, let me tell you, because it really keeps us fed when you're on the struggle. You know, anybody from back in the day, especially from the PlayStation days, will tell you about the famous and absolutely delicious 2 tacos for 99 cents. Oh man, food for when you're on the struggle. Let me tell you, we felt like kings, right? On some family weekends when I was coming up and I had my kids, you know, we would buy $10 worth of tacos. We got 20 tacos. Now, some of you are going to say, hey, those are not real tacos. Let me tell you. Jack in the Box starting in San Diego, so it has to have a little bit of Mexican in there somewhere, just enough for us to eat, right? At affordable prices, and that's what you want. Now, guys, if you ever come to Southern California and you want to know whether the Jack in the Box where you're going to eat at is good and sanitary, you got to look for the Mexican moms working in the back. If you have Mexican moms working in the back, your hamburgers, your tacos, everything will be delicious. Because when it comes to food, Mexican moms don't play. All right? You can rely on that, you know, and we have to thank Jack in the Box for giving people, a lot of Hispanics especially, work here in Southern California. And a lot of moms, let me tell you, raise their kids by working at Jack in the Box, making delicious food for the rest of us that were coming up on the struggle. My kids remember. You know, my kids now are all grown. You know, some of them have their own kids. They don't have to go to Jack in the Box anymore. You know, now they're homeowners, professionals, whatever. But when we get together, I always go on those missions, man, to reminisce about those days. You know, when I was coming up and my kids were young, I would have all these crappy jobs that, you know, I've talked about before. But especially after long shifts, sometimes I would have 12 and 14-hour shifts, guys. I would come home and I would be beyond tired, but I would stop by and get a couple of tacos, 4 tacos usually. When I had a little bit more money, when I felt like splurging, I would have 4 tacos and the jalapeno poppers. Oh, what a great combination. Guys, that buttermilk dip, oh, it's just next level. It is just next level, let me tell you. It is a great combination when you're coming up. And the other reason I would do it is to save money in order to buy more video games for my PlayStation. You do what you have to do, right? And back then, that was really the perfect combo for me. And, you know, when we go on the weekends and, you know, whenever we went, for example, to Disneyland, that's another. Instead of shopping at Disneyland, because we didn't have the budget, we barely had enough for the tickets. Oh man, it was all about Jack in the Box, right? Jack in the Box, tacos, tacos, tacos. And like I said, they got started in San Diego, so there's got to be a little bit of Mexican in there. But I'm telling you, if you see the Mexican moms working in the background, your food will be good, right? As good as it is going to get for Jack in the Box. But that's our restaurant. That's our Jack in the Crack. You'll see it referred to on social media to this day. But for me, some of the most memorable things that I did with my PlayStation involved having snacks next to it. And there was no better snack than Jack in the Box and the 2 tacos. The jalapeno poppers too, man. When they came out, they were scalding hot, right? And I'm not talking about the peppers being hot. I'm talking about the actual jalapenos being hot from the fryer. Burn your mouth, but so delicious. So delicious. Yeah, man. You know, when I look back on those days, those were some of my happiest gaming days. When we could buy happiness for $299.99, right? That's how much the PlayStation was. I remember I bought Tekken for $39.99, one of the best games I ever played on the platform. And that was it, man. I would come home after, long days where I was coming up, where I didn't see any hope, man. Like, I didn't see, I'm going to be stuck doing this forever. I'm going to retire doing this, because I was just working hard to feed my kids. That's all I was doing. And some days, just like any other human being, man, I would be tired as heck. But it would be those moments in time, right? There was no depression back then. There was no, I need a personal day off. There's none of that crap. It's just, you just have to go through it, right? As a man, you just have to go through it and go right through that wall, man, and break those barriers. And the one thing that helped me, and it's always helped me, is video games. But through this specific time, man, it was a PlayStation. It was a PlayStation and Tekken. Man, how that got me through some rough times. And let me tell you, back then, I wanted to quit because I had a boss that was a complete asshole. I mean, completely. And this guy was horrible, right? But the jobs weren't aplenty, especially without a degree back then. I wasn't looking at many prospects, and this job paid really well for the time, right? For having no skills, it paid me a lot better than a lot of other jobs would. But this guy knew it, and because of that, man, was this guy a complete a-hole. But I had to deal with him, right? I had to deal with him. I had to feed the kids as best as I could, and that PlayStation and Jack in the Box got me through those rough times, guys. And, it'll be different for everybody else, right? I don't know what your favorite snacks were back in the day, what you could afford, what good time you were having. I always see these videos on YouTube of, oh man, when I was growing up, when I was coming up, I played this and I was doing that and I got all the games, and I never had all the games. I always had one or two, and I had to go turn them back in, exchange them, all that stuff, just to keep the other one going, buy the lowest food possible for lunch so I could save up for the next game. I didn't have any of those experiences. But you know what? That made me the person that I am today. If it wasn't for those struggles, if it wasn't for learning how to come up, I would have never gotten the hunger to progress in life, right? While some of my colleagues, they struggle with a little bit of stress because they have to answer an email or something. Whenever I look at what I have to do and I compare it to what I used to do, it ain't no problem, baby. I've been through hell and back. And when I was going through hell, you know who's there for me? Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box. And Jack specifically, in the Hispanic community, probably there's only two white men we trust. One of them is Santa Claus, and the other one is Jack in the Box. Remember, he was working. This dude had a wife, he had kids. So he knew what we were going through, right? Somebody we could identify with. All right, guys, I just want to share that story today. I hope you guys are doing great. You guys are having a great weekend with your family. Man, enjoy it. You're going to get through the tough times. And video games, let me tell you, they do help. Thank you for liking the channel. Thank you for subscribing. And I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. New videos every Monday and Sunday. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe. Click that notification bell. And remember, never ever be afraid to be happy. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.